welcome to another episode of Crizzy Books. I'm Crizzy, or Criz, but only my homeboys call me Criz. And today I'm going to be doing a review for Sin City by Frank Miller. Sin City is a comic book graphic novel series created by Frank Miller. It was released from the years 1991 up into 2000. I was always a big fan of the movie growing up. It had that uber macho, hyper-violent noir feel, which just so cool. Plus the unique style, the black and white that it was using. I'd never really seen that before. I've never read the series, but I'm getting more into Frank Miller. Really love his Batman and Daredevil, but I've not read a lot of stuff outside of his superhero stuff. So this seemed like the logical next step for me. This is a neo-noir anthology series. We follow a series of different characters through each book. Some of them are recurring. Some of them are just one-off. The stories are gritty, soaked in alcohol and blood and lead. And for the most part, it's pretty good. It's very original. I like the plots that intertwine and characters meeting up or just crossing paths all throughout the story. The art style is amazing. I love the bold black and white and the sparing use of color. And the stories, while not mind-blowing or anything, are still pretty good, and I think you'd have a good time. So what did I like? Again, the art style. I think that it is so bold and contrasting. It works really well. I've never really seen anything quite like it before. It's gritty. It's super detailed. There's a lot of times where I would just stop and just stare at the art in front of me because of how good it is and how many little details there are to pick up. Another thing I loved was the characters. A lot of them stand out, even side characters that you think may not matter. You're going to remember them. They may show up again. Some of them might not, but a lot of them have a lasting impact on your mind. A lot of them really do end up being kind of the same. The grizzled man who's down on his luck or been through too many tussles meets some broad and they fucking fight their way out of danger. Maybe they live, maybe they die. But each one of these guys and girls stand on their own. They become unique characters. You don't forget them easily. From Marv to Dwight, the girls in Old Town, to Hardigan, Wallace. A lot of these characters have now stuck in my mind. I'm not going to forget them anytime soon. Again, I love the intertwining narratives. It helps to remind you of past events that have occurred and how all these characters are doing their own thing, yet in the same kind of sphere of each other without really knowing it. It's a really cool and interesting way to, tie all of these stories together. Everything in this just comes down to sex and guns. Boobs are just out. Anytime that Frankie Boy gets a chance, he is putting a set of bazongas on the page. Whether it calls for it or not, there's an unnecessary amount of tittage in this. I'm not complaining about it. There's just an egregious amount of breasticles here. For me, some of the standout stories would be The Hard Goodbye, The Big Fat Kill, The Yellow Bastard, and Helen Back. I thought that all four of these were the strongest ones. Helen Back specifically has a really cool shift from the rest of them. First of all, it's about twice as long as all the other books. It has new characters in it that we haven't really seen before. There are other side characters who do show up here. What's really cool is at one point, the main character Wallace gets drugged and he starts hallucinating. And the entire style of the book shifts from the black and white into full-blown color, looks like watercolor. All these characters from Frank Miller's other books start showing up, as well as just iconic characters from pop culture. It's a really cool and unique shift that I think really kind of made this book feel fresh and different from the rest of them. And I really appreciated that. So let's talk about what did I not like. While I love the art, I also didn't like the art because sometimes it is really difficult to know what is actually going on. He does this thing where he inverses blacks and whites a lot. While it is really cool and it looks awesome on some pieces, on others, it is impossible to tell what the hell is happening. And anything to do with the henchmen, what are their names? Clump and Schlub. I can't stand the flowery language, rambling on and on while saying the most simplistic stuff. I can't do that. That is like such a pet peeve of mine. I hate it. And it got to the point where whenever those two would show up, I would completely skip over anything that they were involved in because I just can't stand to sit here and waste my time reading this kind of bullshit. Not for me. Overall, this is a pretty good, not great series, but still a good time. And it makes me want to go back and rewatch the movie. I actually never saw the second one, so maybe I'll have a little double feature. I'm going to give Sin City a 4 out of 5. But what did you think? Have you read this? Do you love it? Do you not love it? What are your thoughts and opinions? Sound off in the comments below. Be sure to like, hit that motherfucking subscribe button. And as always, thank you for watching. Bye. Mwah.